Welcome to Pulsecast USA. I'm your host, Alina. Today, we're delving into a story that bridges royalty, revolution, and tragedy, the life and death of Princess Leila Pahlavi of Iran. Born into one of the most powerful royal families in the Middle East, she died alone in a London hotel room at just 31 years old. Her story is not just about personal tragedy, but about the far-reaching consequences of political upheaval, identity crisis, and the pain of exile. Stay with us as we explore the heartbreaking journey of Iran's lost princess. Leila Pahlavi was born on March 27, 1970 in Tehran, the youngest daughter of Iran's last Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and his third wife, Empress Farah Pahlavi. She entered the world during what many consider the golden age of Iran's modern history, a period of prosperity, development, and increasing Western influence. As the youngest child, Leila grew up in the opulent Niavaran palace, surrounded by private tutors and immersed in both traditional Iranian culture and Western education. The Pahlavi family were seen as the epitome of style and glamour, with the young princess and her brother often compared to Western royalty like William and Harry. But beneath the glittering facade, tensions were brewing. Not everyone supported the Shah's regime. Some on the left still resented the 1953 coup, backed by the US and UK, that had deposed the democratically elected government and installed the Shah. Meanwhile, religious conservatives were growing increasingly uncomfortable with the westernization of Iranian society. By the mid-1970s, Iran's economic climate was worsening, Islamic revivalism was on the rise, and exiled cleric Ayatollah Khomeini was gaining support. The perfect storm was forming that would soon change the course of Iranian history and Leila's life forever. By the end of 1978, with protests intensifying, the Shah sent his two oldest children abroad for safety. Leila, just 9 years old, and her brother Ali Reza remained with their parents in the Niavaran palace. As historian Andrew Scott Cooper notes, they could hear protesters chanting "Death to the Shah" outside the palace walls. By mid-January 1979, the Pahlavis had fled Iran, beginning what Cooper calls a 14-month loop around the world where no government would host them. The family was constantly on the move, from Egypt to Morocco, the Bahamas, Mexico, and eventually the United States. Throughout this journey, they lived under the threat of assassins sent by Ayatollah Khomeini. During this period of uncertainty and displacement, the Shah was battling cancer. His health rapidly deteriorated, and on July 27, 1980, he passed away in Cairo. Leila was just 10 years old. She had lost not only her country, but also her father within a short span of time. After her father's death, the family eventually settled in the United States. Despite her royal background, Leila's life was far from the fairy tale one might expect. She was struggling deeply with what can only be described as internal emotional pain. Leila began studying literature and philosophy at Brown University, but soon drifted into modeling in Paris, capitalizing on her striking beauty and royal status. While this might have seemed glamorous from the outside, those close to her say she felt like a soul without a state, a person disconnected from her homeland and struggling to find her place in the world. Her mental health declined significantly. She suffered from depression, chronic fatigue, and severe anorexia, an eating disorder that would plague her for years. During treatment, she became dependent on sleeping pills, beginning a dangerous cycle of medication dependency. Leila largely stayed away from public life, avoiding fame and attention despite her royal status. History suggests that exile and a profound crisis of identity further intensified her struggles. She was trapped between two worlds, the royal past she could no longer access, and the ordinary life she could never fully embrace. In her final year, Leila was living in a hotel in London, ironically, a city with a substantial Iranian diaspora that might have offered support had she reached out. Despite attempts at rehabilitation, she slipped through the cracks, as Andrew Scott Cooper puts it. On June 10, 2001, Princess Leila Pahlavi was found dead in her London hotel room. She was only 31 years old. The judicial investigation revealed that she had taken approximately 40 sleeping pills instead of the prescribed 2. Traces of cocaine and other prescription drugs were also found in her system. Her death was ruled a probable suicide. Princess Leila was buried in Paris, a city that symbolized the lifelong exile she endured. Her death shocked both the Iranian diaspora community and royal watchers around the world. As comedian and writer Shaparak Khorsandi poignantly noted, London would have been full of Iranians that would have heeded her call had we known. She was part of the Iranian diaspora, and her story represents a massive part of all of our sadness. Tragedy would strike the Pahlavi family again. In 2011, Leila's brother Ali Reza also took his own life while living in exile. The siblings' deaths highlight the profound psychological toll that exile and loss of identity can exact on individuals, even those born into privilege. In her memoirs, their mother, Empress Shah Farah Pahlavi, wrote about these personal tragedies, the pain and the deep sense of loss and identity crisis faced by her children. Now in her 80s, the Empress has witnessed not only her children's deaths, but also a shifting perception of the Pahlavi legacy in Iran. Interestingly, as Andrew Scott Cooper suggests, in some ways, the family is actually more popular inside Iran now than they were when they came out. As Iranians continue to protest against the current regime, there's a growing nostalgia for the pre-revolutionary era and a renewed interest in the Pahlavi family. The story of Princess Leila Pahlavi is more than just a royal tragedy. It's a stark reminder of how political upheaval can shatter individual lives, how exile can create profound psychological wounds, and how privilege offers no protection against mental health struggles. Her story also speaks to the broader experience of the Iranian diaspora, millions who left their homeland following the revolution, many carrying similar feelings of displacement and loss. As Shaparak Khorsandi suggests, Leila's story represents a massive part of all of our sadness. One can't help but wonder what might have been. As Cooper reflects, you sort of wish that Leila and Ali Reza had lived to see the family name in a way restored. They would have seen what their mother, who is now in her 80s, is seeing, which is this tremendous wave of sympathy and genuine interest in the family inside Iran. The story of Princess Leila Pahlavi leaves us with difficult questions. How do we support those struggling with the trauma of displacement? What responsibility do societies have toward those in exile? And how might history have been different had this young princess found the help she so desperately needed? Thank you for joining me today on Pulsecast USA. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this tragic story. Share your perspectives in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most compelling human stories. I'm Alina, and this has been Pulsecast USA. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and stay informed. Do you believe the Pahlavi family might one day return to a role in Iran?